Beloved, the spoken word is power. What you decree with your lips, you release into the universe. Every hour is a doorway, and every word you speak is the key. Many let the hours slip away, chained to worry, bound by fear, repeating silently the language of lack, limitation, and despair. But you are not called to be a prisoner of appearances. You are called to be a master of substance, a commander of supply, a creator with the word. Every hour, let your lips speak the vibration that opens the floodgates of divine abundance. Say within yourself, I live in a universe of plenty. God's supply is mine now. Every good and perfect gift is flowing to me without delay or obstruction. As you affirm, the unseen begins to rearrange itself, opportunities appear, doors swing wide, and miracles hasten their steps toward you. The world will try to make you forget. The hour will bring distractions, problems, and appearances that whisper, you are lacking, you are small, you are not enough. But truth overturns appearances. Truth is eternal, and truth is this: you are connected to an infinite source, and no man, no condition, no circumstance can cut that cord. Each hour, your affirmation renews the cord of golden light, drawing substance from the invisible into the visible. Say it when you rise. The divine plan of my life now unfolds in perfect sequence, bringing riches, peace, and joy. Say it when you work. Everything I touch prospers, for God is in the midst of it. Say it when you fear. There is nothing to fear, for the law of God is the law of abundance, and it cannot fail. Say it when you are weary. The strength of the Spirit is mine, and I rise renewed. Say it every hour, for repetition is the drumbeat that summons the army of manifestation. Your words are soldiers, and they march forward to conquer lack, defeat doubt, and establish dominion. Do not leave your lips idle, for idle lips let idle thoughts run wild. Speak, and you harness the wildness. Speak, and you claim your inheritance. Speak, and you rise above appearances into the realm of demonstration. Every hour is sacred. Every hour is a chance to write the script of your life anew. If you will only remember to say, I walk in the riches of the kingdom now. You will see the barren fields bloom, debts dissolve, opportunities multiply, and divine supply flow like a river that cannot be stopped. What you say every hour becomes the seed planted in the soil of your subconscious, and the harvest cannot fail to come. Say it with faith. Say it with joy. Say it with certainty that the unseen is more real than the seen, and that the invisible hand of Spirit is arranging everything for your highest good. For every hour that you speak truth, you step into the rhythm of miracles, and life becomes the demonstration of your decree. The spoken word is power. Every hour, your words create your world. From the beginning of creation, it was the word that brought light out of darkness, order out of chaos, and form out of the void. The same principle that formed the universe is alive within you. For you were made in the image of the Creator, and your tongue holds the same divine power to decree, to shape, and to command. Many drift through the hours of their day, repeating unconsciously words of fear, words of complaint, words of doubt, and these words become the silent architects of their reality. They wonder why lack clings to them, why opportunities seem far away, why their lives repeat the same unwanted patterns. And the answer is simple yet profound. The words they speak are sowing the seeds of those very conditions. Every word is a seed planted in the soil of the mind, and every seed must produce after its kind, whether for good or for evil, whether for abundance or for want. When you understand that every hour is a moment of creation, you no longer let words fall carelessly from your lips. You become vigilant, watching, guarding, choosing, and declaring with intention. The power of the tongue is the rudder of your ship, and though the winds of life may blow strong, the words you speak direct the course. If you speak lack, your ship sails toward want. If you speak abundance, your ship sails toward plenty. If you speak health, your body receives vitality. If you speak weakness, your body bends under it. There is no neutral word, no empty word, no idle word, for every utterance is charged with creative energy. The world trains the tongue to repeat worry. Society encourages constant confession of limitation. How often do you hear someone say, I can't afford it, I'm tired, I never get a chance, nothing ever works out for me. These affirmations, spoken again and again, become laws written into the subconscious. The subconscious does not argue, It does not reason, it only receives and acts, just as fertile soil does not question the seed placed within it, but simply grows it. The one who speaks such words becomes bound by their own decree. They wonder why they are stuck, not realizing they themselves are fastening the chains with the links of their own speech. But the one who awakens to truth, the one who understands the law of the spoken word, takes dominion over the tongue and thus dominion over life. Instead of confessing weakness, they affirm strength. Instead of rehearsing lack, they declare supply. Instead of magnifying obstacles, they proclaim solutions. And as surely as the dawn follows the night, their conditions begin to shift. For the invisible responds to the spoken decree. Words are vibrational commands sent into the ethers, and the ethers, obedient to law, return the manifestation in due season. This is why you are instructed to speak every hour, to declare not once, not only in moments of desperation, but continually, rhythmically, with the cadence of life itself. For just as the body requires food at intervals, and the lungs require breath each moment, so too does the mind require nourishment of truth, through the spoken word. To speak truth every hour is to water the garden of the subconscious with living affirmations, ensuring that weeds of doubt do not overtake the flowers of faith. Each hour you affirm divine supply, divine strength, divine order. You turn the hour into a consecrated moment, and the accumulation of these moments builds a life of demonstration. Words spoken with faith are not mere sounds. They are forces that carve pathways through resistance. The spoken word charged with belief sets angels in motion, draws opportunities out of hiding, summons resources from unexpected places. When you say with conviction, "I live in a universe of abundance, and divine supply flows to me now," unseen currents begin to move, aligning circumstances, rearranging events, and bringing into form the very substance of your decree. To say such a thing each hour is not repetition for its own sake. It is striking the same note until it resonates so deeply in the subconscious that no opposing vibration can remain. Your words are creative, not because of human willpower alone, but because they are backed by the eternal law that decrees. By your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned. Each spoken word is either loosing you into freedom, or binding you into limitation. When you speak, you are either blessing or cursing your own path, opening or closing doors, enlarging or diminishing your field of opportunity. The universe listens, and it takes you at your word. If you say you cannot, then you cannot. If you say you are defeated, then defeat finds you. But if you say with faith that you are victorious, that provision is yours, that divine order governs your affairs, then victory, provision, and order are summoned and made manifest. It is not enough to think these truths silently. The spoken word has a power of vibration that thought alone does not. Thought is the seed, but speech is the planting. Thought is the design, but speech is the building. When the architect draws the plan, the building does not appear until the workmen set hand to stone. Likewise, thought lays the blueprint, but the spoken word sets the invisible substance into form. This is why you must speak, and why you must speak often. Not once, not occasionally, not when you remember, but every hour. For every hour you are either building with words of truth or dismantling with words of error. The tongue is the sword of the spirit, and with it you cut away fear, doubt, and lack. Each hour when you affirm the goodness of life, you are wielding that sword, slaying the illusions that parade before your eyes, illusions that tempt you to believe in scarcity, failure, and defeat. The spoken word pierces through appearances, reminding you and the universe of the higher law that governs. Every hour is a fresh chance to decree truth and override the false evidence of the senses. Do not be deceived by the smallness of words, for a word may seem light as a feather, yet it carries the weight of worlds. Words are seeds, and seeds are small, yet from a seed grows the mighty oak. The repeated word, spoken every hour, is the constant sowing of seeds of abundance, and in time, the harvest comes in fields too vast to measure. Those who sow sparingly with careless speech reap sparingly, but those who sow abundantly with words of truth reap abundantly. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Therefore, see every hour as holy. As the clock turns, as time marches, let each hour be marked not by worry or complaint, but by decree. Speak deliberately, Speak joyfully, speak with certainty, for the word is power and the word is law. Know that what you release from your lips is shaping the next hour, the next day, the next year, and that nothing spoken in faith is ever lost. But each word hurries forth to fulfill its mission. Each word returns bearing the harvest of its kind, and every spoken truth plants the heavens into your earth. Affirm divine supply continually, an unseen substance will shape into visible abundance. The universe is rich beyond measure, overflowing with infinite supply. Yet most live as if they are separated from it, as though provision is scarce and blessings are few. They gaze at appearances and declare themselves limited, forgetting that appearances are but shadows, ever-changing reflections of past thoughts and words. Behind every appearance lies the eternal reality of divine substance, waiting to be called into form by the word of faith. When you affirm divine supply, you acknowledge that there is an invisible storehouse, greater than any bank, a treasury that never runs dry, a river that never ceases to flow. The moment you declare it, you align yourself with that river, and what was unseen begins to move toward manifestation. This is why affirmation must be continual, for doubt creeps in when lips are silent. The mind easily drifts back into the habit of lack, thinking when not anchored by spoken truth. To affirm divine supply continually is to keep the channel open, to keep the current flowing, to prevent the dam of fear and disbelief from blocking your good. Every word of faith you speak is like opening the sluice gates wider, allowing more and more of the invisible substance to pour forth into your visible life. To stop affirming is to allow the gates to close, and though the river still flows eternally, you have shut yourself from its stream. Unseen substance is everywhere, and though the eyes cannot perceive it, it is more real than what you see. The visible world is nothing more than condensed substance, thought and word crystallized into form. Your very body, your home, your circumstances, your possessions, all were once invisible, shaped out of the unseen by thought, belief, and decree. This law is constant and impartial, responding alike to faith and to fear. If you affirm lack, the substance takes the form of want. If you affirm abundance, the substance takes the form of plenty. If you affirm sickness, it molds into weakness. If you affirm health, it blossoms into strength. The unseen is like clay in the potter's hands, and your words are the hands that shape it. To affirm divine supply continually is to never let the clay rest in formlessness. It is to press into it hour by hour, molding it, shaping it, impressing upon it the patterns of wealth, joy, health, and freedom. The subconscious mind, like the unseen substance, accepts every impression given to it. It does not resist, it does not reason, it only molds itself to the decree. If you say, "I am always provided for," then provision begins to appear in ways you could not have imagined. If you say, "Every bill is paid in divine order," then the ways and means present themselves. If you say, "I live in a universe of infinite wealth," then the invisible responds with opportunities, ideas, connections, and resources that bring wealth into being. Many think abundance comes by toil alone, but the law of life is not sweat but word. Work without affirmation is labor in vain, but work undergirded by continual affirmation becomes effortless, for the unseen substance is summoned to assist. The worker who affirms divine supply finds doors open where others meet walls, finds helpers appear where others struggle alone, finds resources flow where others see drought. Continual affirmation is not denial of work, but the elevation of work, transforming it from struggle into expression, from hardship into joy. Every moment of silence is an opportunity for doubt to plant its seed, and doubt is quick to grow if not uprooted. This is why you are instructed to affirm continually, to let the word of truth be upon your lips morning, noon, and night. The more often you affirm, the less room remains for doubt to creep in. Each affirmation is a light turned on in the mind, and as light accumulates, darkness finds no place to linger. Each time you say, "I am divinely provided for," you chase away the shadow of worry. Each time you say, "The wealth of the universe flows freely to me," you weaken the hold of fear. Continual affirmation also trains the subconscious to expect abundance, as naturally as the lungs expect air. Just as the body does not question whether the next breath will come, the mind, when saturated with truth, does not question whether supply will flow. it becomes second nature to expect good, to look for opportunity, to assume that every need will be met before it arises. This is the state of consciousness that continual affirmation creates, a state where abundance is no longer hoped for but known, no longer distant but present, no longer a desire but a demonstration. The unseen substance is infinite, and your affirmation does not diminish it, for no matter how much is drawn forth, there is always more. 1,000,000 voices could affirm abundance at once, and the storehouse would still overflow, for divine supply is not measured in human terms. It cannot be exhausted, it cannot be depleted, it cannot be hoarded or withheld, for it is ever flowing, ever renewing, ever ready to manifest. Your continual affirmation does not beg for scraps, but commands from an infinite banquet, where every need is already anticipated, and every table already laid. When you affirm divine supply continually, you break the illusion of separation. You no longer believe yourself to be outside the circle of provision, but recognize that you are within the circle, a rightful heir, an inheritor of all good things. This shift in consciousness dissolves fear of loss. For you know that even if one stream dries, the river still flows, and new streams will always arise. To live in continual affirmation is to live without fear of tomorrow, without dread of bills, without anxiety over circumstances, for you know that supply is not dependent on a single channel, but on the infinite source that manifests through countless channels. Your words are magnets, and the continual affirmation of abundance draws substance into your orbit. People are drawn to you, opportunities are drawn to you, ideas are drawn to you, because your vibration is one of supply and fullness. Those who affirm lack repel these things, pushing them away with the magnetism of fear. Those who affirm supply continually attract, as surely as iron is drawn to the magnet. Continual affirmation charges the atmosphere around you, creating an aura of prosperity that others feel even before you speak. In the silence of your heart and the utterance of your lips, the law is always listening. Whether you affirm once or you affirm 100 times, the law is responsive. But when you affirm continually, you build momentum, you create a force that cannot be stopped, for the constant vibration of abundance leaves no room for contrary impressions. The law of substance is simple. It takes the form of your most dominant vibration. If your dominant vibration is fear, then want appears. If your dominant vibration is abundance, then supply appears. Continual affirmation ensures that abundance remains the strongest vibration, overriding every fleeting doubt, every passing fear. Affirm divine supply continually, and know that the unseen substance is already responding, already shaping, already forming itself into visible abundance, awaiting only the moment when conditions align for you to behold with your eyes what you have declared with your lips. Repetition is the golden key. What you declare hourly becomes the rhythm of your destiny. The universe responds to rhythm, to steady vibration, to the constant beat of thought and word. Just as the ocean moves with the pull of the tide, just as the heart beats in perfect cadence, so too does the law of creation move according to the rhythm you establish with your affirmations. A single word spoken with faith holds power, but a word spoken again and again, pressed into consciousness with steady repetition, engraves itself upon the subconscious, shaping belief, expectation, and ultimately the outward life. Repetition is not vain when it is truth being affirmed, for every repeated decree deepens the imprint upon the mind, until the truth spoken becomes truth lived. Every thought you repeat, every phrase you rehearse, becomes part of the symphony of your destiny. Many people unknowingly set the rhythm of defeat by repeating words of fear, doubt, and complaint. They rise in the morning and say, "I'm so tired," and they go about their day affirming, "I never get ahead. I can't afford this. Things always go wrong for me." With each repetition, they beat the drum of limitation, and their subconscious, obedient and faithful, creates conditions to match. Their outer life marches to the rhythm they themselves have set, not realizing that they are both the drummer and the dancer. The law does not discriminate between positive or negative rhythms. It only echoes back the vibration it receives. To change destiny, you must change rhythm, and the way to change rhythm is through repetition of a new word, a new decree, a new affirmation of truth. Just as a musician practices a note, until it becomes second nature, So must you practice the word of abundance, of strength, of success, until it becomes the natural beat of your soul. At first, the old rhythm may resist, for the mind is accustomed to its pattern. Doubt may whisper, appearances may contradict, yet if you persist in repetition, if you strike the new note again and again, the old song fades and the new melody takes hold. Soon, you no longer strain to believe. You simply are, because the rhythm has become part of you. Repetition is the golden key, because the subconscious is not impressed by one declaration but by many. It learns not from a single utterance but from a steady stream, just as water shapes rock not by a single drop but by the persistence of flow. The mind is molded by what it hears continually, by what it rehearses daily, by the words repeated until they are carved into the fabric of thought. Every hour that you speak truth, you are chiseling away the stone of doubt, engraving the law of abundance into your inner being, until it stands unshakable, immovable, and manifest. The wise use repetition as a tool of mastery. They know that by affirming hourly, they align their vibration with abundance, success, health, and peace. They do not speak once and forget, for they know that the mind must be trained, and training comes through repetition. A child does not learn to walk by taking one step, but by many. A student does not master knowledge by reading once, but by revisiting, rehearsing, repeating. Likewise, the soul does not master truth by hearing it once, but by declaring it until it saturates every fiber of consciousness. Repetition builds faith, and faith builds demonstration. The rhythm you set through repetition becomes a magnetic current. When you speak hourly, "I am divinely supplied," you create a steady vibration that draws substance into form. When you declare again and again, "Everything I touch prospers," you set the rhythm of success, and success begins to appear as naturally as sunrise follows night. When you affirm continually, "I walk in divine order," life arranges itself in perfect sequence, for the law always responds to the rhythm established. Repetition creates momentum, and momentum gathers force until no obstacle can stand before it. Consider the power of a drum beat. A single strike is sound, but a steady beat moves armies, sets pace, unites movements and drives action. So too with repetition. A single word of truth is powerful, but the steady rhythm of affirmation moves the forces of the unseen, unites circumstances and drives manifestation. Repetition is the drumbeat of destiny, calling forth the demonstration of your decree. If you neglect it, the rhythm of the world takes over, and you find yourself marching to the beat of fear, lack, and limitation. But if you set your own rhythm with hourly affirmation, you lead your life into abundance, health, and joy. Repetition also dissolves resistance. At first, when you affirm abundance, the old beliefs rise to argue. The subconscious may protest. But look at your lack, look at your debts, look at your failures. Yet, repetition wears down resistance, as surely as waves wear down a cliff. Each time you affirm, you weaken the hold of the old pattern, until eventually it has no more strength to oppose. What once felt like a lie to your mind becomes accepted as truth, and what is accepted as truth must eventually show itself in form. The repeated word plants itself deeper each time, until it becomes the dominant seed, crowding out weeds of doubt, producing only after its kind. Repetition is the secret of nature. The sun rises daily, the seasons turn without fail, the waves crash endlessly, the heartbeat repeats unceasingly. Nature thrives on rhythm, and so does the soul. When you repeat affirmations hourly, you align with this eternal law of rhythm. You create consistency, and consistency births manifestation. Sporadic affirmations bring sporadic results, but steady affirmations bring steady supply. The law does not reward occasional effort but continual rhythm. The golden key is in persistence, for persistence wears away opposition and secures the harvest. What you declare hourly becomes habit, and habit shapes destiny. At first, you may need to remind yourself, to set the clock, to pause and speak. But soon the rhythm takes hold, and it becomes as natural as breathing. You find yourself affirming without effort, declaring truth as easily as conversation, speaking abundance with the same ease as greeting a friend. When repetition becomes habit, destiny shifts permanently, for the rhythm is established within, and life cannot help but echo it without. The repetition of truth does not weary the soul, it strengthens it. Each affirmation is like striking flint against steel, producing sparks of light, and the more often you strike, the brighter the fire burns. Repetition fans the flame of faith, until it becomes a roaring blaze that no wind of circumstance can extinguish. Each time you repeat, you remind yourself of the unseen reality, and by constant reminder, you hold yourself in alignment with it. Alignment brings demonstration, for the unseen substance is always ready, waiting only for the rhythm of your decree to shape it. Repetition is the golden key, because it unlocks the door of the subconscious, and once the subconscious accepts truth, manifestation is inevitable. No force can stop what has been written deeply into belief. Hourly repetition ensures the writing is deep, sure, and unalterable. Just as the chisel carves the stone with repeated strokes, so do your affirmations carve destiny with repeated words. The more you strike, the clearer the form emerges, until your life stands as the sculpture of your decree. What you declare hourly becomes the drumbeat of your being, and your being sets the rhythm of your destiny. Speak once, and you plant a seed. Speak hourly, and you cultivate a harvest. Speak continually, and you create a rhythm that carries you forward, lifting you above appearances, guiding you into manifestation, setting the tone for your entire life. Repetition is not toil. It is mastery, for through it you command the law. You set the vibration, you determine the song your life will sing. Each hour is sacred, speak truth, and miracles will hasten to manifest. Time is not a string of empty moments, each hour carries within it the seed of transformation. To the unawakened, an hour is only another measure on the clock, something to endure or to rush through. But to the one who knows the law, each hour is a holy opportunity to decree, to affirm, and to create anew. Every hour that passes is like a field waiting to be sown, and what you speak into it determines what it will yield. Some allow the hours to pass in idle chatter, in worry, in complaint, and the field grows weeds of limitation. But the awakened soul knows that the hour is sacred, and so with deliberate speech plants seeds of truth, seeds of abundance, seeds of health, seeds of joy, and the field cannot help but bring forth the harvest of those seeds. Each hour is a doorway to the unseen. Behind the veil of appearances, there is a constant activity of divine substance, arranging, moving, flowing, waiting to take form according to the pattern impressed upon it by human thought and word. To speak truth each hour is to keep impressing the higher pattern, ensuring that the invisible substance does not shape itself after fear but after faith.